Welcome to In the Know with Steph and Joe. In the Know with Steph and Joe is all about small business development. These two entrepreneurs bring real life experience, laughter, and, well, just a ton of knowledge on how to build your small business and make it thrive. This is your creation. Now learn how to make it sing. Of course, In the Know with Steph and Joe brought to you through the financial support of our good friends over at Epic Media, because when you are truly authentic, there can be no competitors. With the continued growth of technologies these days, it's essential that you have an effective internet marketing strategy in place for your business. If you need to know what they do, check them out at www.epicmediainc.com. Today, In the Know with Steph and Joe, keeping your personal and business accounts separate. And yes, we have no Joe, only Steph. Steph, how are you?
Good. How are you?
We're good. Sorry. It was a good solo flight for Joe last week with neither you or I around, but good time, I think.
Yeah, I feel like the last 3 or 4 shows, Joe and I have missed each other in
Yeah.
some capacity. So hopefully next week we'll be back on track and
Yeah.
no more vacations, no more things, and the kids are going to be going back to school soon. So I'm sure that's going to help
Yep.
also.
Yep. Things normal out. Summer is always a fun time, especially for small business owners as well, just because you have vacations and the kids are around to juggle that. I mean, it's nuts, right?
Yeah, I mean, if Gavin, my older son, wouldn't have gotten home from work a little bit earlier than normal today,
Yeah.
Eli would have been my special guest on the radio since he was at home, because they're having a little barbecue cookout at Rich's work today.
Oh, nice. A
So
little fun.
he's
Yeah.
manning the grill with some of the other guys. So
Eli doing the grill thing. Good for
Hmm.
him. That's good.
I don't know. Gavin and Eli get to be at home and hang out and relax. But yeah. So I thought that since we should talk and touch base on your personal bank account versus your business bank account, and once you become a business owner, it's, even though there's all the revenues and the money's coming in from the sales and all of that, that's not really your money. Even though you're the business owner, it's the business's money, and there's a difference. And I feel like some of that is kind of the biggest struggle that I've run into recently with startup businesses, that we've been taking on and onboarding, that explaining the difference on that.
Yeah.
Because they're like, well, I own the business. I'm the only one in the business. So, it's my money. Well, kinda. Like, yeah, it's your money at the capacity that you're the sole employee or sole contractor in the business, but it's the business's money because it's being put into the LLC or incorporation bank account. It's not being put into your personal account. And when people continuously use their business credit card, like if you're out at, I don't know, Jewel or something, and you forget your personal debit card, or they look similar and you mix them up and you use your business one, and then you're like, whatever, it's fine, and you have a lot of those types of trips starting to accumulate, if and when that random audit gets pulled into effect, and you shop at a lot of these places that could be intermingled with business like office supplies,
Yeah.
or personal groceries or clothing, because it seems like every store has every item now. When you go into Meyer, you could get clothes, you can get food, you can get toys, you can get anything, plants, you know. So I feel like it makes and creates that muddy water for those business owners. And then if you get somebody that's not so nice in an audit, they're going to be a lot less forgiving, especially if you don't have your receipts to prove that they were business related items.
Right.
Like Amazon's another big thing too, because you could get anything and everything from there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Eli said that he wants to be an Amazon driver when he grows up because he said that that's where all the toys come from.
A lot of truth to that, though.
So,
Not a
but
bad idea.
but yeah, so we always encourage, once you get your FEIN number, you get your business bank account established, then from there, whether if you're an LLC, you have to take draws.
Yep.
You can't go on a traditional payroll unless you're filing as a sub S. But you need to transfer that money out of the business account into your personal account and then pay your bills, such as your mortgage, your utilities, your groceries, all of that. You can't just continuously use the business account and say that that's a draw, but you're cutting the check directly to your mortgage.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Like it just gets messy.
Yeah.
And so to avoid the messiness and to make it easier when it comes time for somebody from the Fed or the state to come knocking to doing a little investigation, you'll be a lot cleaner, and it would be more unlikely for them to really pick apart certain stores and purchases.
Yeah, I see, of course, being in banking, I see a lot of small businesses, one or two, lady or man shop that they just use they open a business account because they're getting checks in their business name, but that's it. They're doing business as, and they just use that account for everything.
Right. And then the other problem outside of just for auditing and just cleanliness, you run into the problem of, how do you know how much money you need in your bank account to take that next step in your business, whether it be a piece of machinery, a new vehicle, add an employee, add a subcontractor? It makes it a lot more difficult to identify your margins and your expectations. And then also, if you're not leaving a few pennies in there month over month, what is your growth plan at that point?
Yeah.
If you're taking all of the money out, whether it be for whatever, if you intend to always remain a one person show, that's one thing. But if your ambition is to grow, to have a staff or to have contractors, you're going to have money aside in there to account for that.
Well, I got into business to make money, but not show I make money.
I mean,
Right.
I feel like that was an extremely common phrase, like back not long ago, but like I feel like it's been drilled into people year
Right.
over year over year. But I think that people are starting to realize how difficult it is to get a loan.
Ugh.
Like how difficult it is to get a mortgage, how difficult it is to get a car, how difficult it is to get your kids put in college. Like it's
Yep.
becoming more and more difficult to have those, $0 years or negative years, and then be able to get somebody to be willing to loan you money,
Yeah, they will not. Trust me.
on a business level or a personal level.
Yeah.
Hi, Jen.
Jen Krejci, how are you?
So I just feel like it's always the best practice, because my mom is somebody that I was talking to on the phone the other day, which kind of struck up this topic for me. And I was saying that how QuickBooks Connect is going back live this year, which is exciting, and even exciting for me. And so this year it's going to be in Vegas. And before it was in San Jose, California.
Yeah.
So this year, hi, Mom. So it's in Vegas. And so I'm taking my team. And so we're going to go, we're going to do the continuing education.
That's cool.
We're going to do all these seminars on QuickBooks. We're going to learn about new up and coming things, new up and coming apps that are integrating, and all these kind of fun little things that we're going to do. And I was talking to my mom about it, and I know she's not going to agree with me because, she didn't agree with me then. So I know she's not going to agree with me on air. That I'm like, oh, I got to take this money out of the business, and we're doing this, this, and this with the trip and this and it, whatever, that it gets kind of expensive when you're buying and traveling accommodations for 3 people. And then my mom's trying to tell me, well, that's your money, and about spending the money and not spending it on certain components and coming home, early and not staying an extra day. And I'm like, well, it's not my money. It's the business money. and we're doing it for a continuing education trip, and
Mm-hmm.
like we were going back and forth about it. And even though we bring in the sales and we bring in the money, like it's not like I can't take 100% of the money out of the account as my
Right.
money. Like it's, this opportunity to do continuing education is worth the investment for my team.
Mm-hmm.
But I just view the business account as a separate, completely separate, like entity, as like a savings account you would have where you would just set it and forget it kind of thing.
Right.
Like I want to have, 3 to 6 months of payroll in my account at any given time. And, obviously if something comes up for me personally and I need a little bit of extra cash, then maybe I might take an extra draw. But I try not to do that. I try and maintain a pretty modest salary. So as I hire staff, I know that I can put them at that salary point, and I have the funds to do that.
Yeah.
Because there's some business owners I've seen that take like these six-figure salaries as fast as possible, but then they're always cash poor, like in the business, and they can't. If anything was to come up, like a truck needed to be replaced, or I don't know, if the building that they're in needed a new roof or whatever the situation is, it just seems like they don't ever have that extra funding to do that, because the owners have consistently taken such a large salary. And everybody knows if you have that money, then you spend that money. And so it's hard for you to go back down, to the maybe the income bracket that you were before you opened your business, or before you got that raise, or something like that. It's just like I tell my older son that when he gets a raise at work, and my mom is definitely somebody that had drilled that into me
Mm-hmm.
as a child, that you're used to living at X amount of dollars per hour, and you get that bump, you should put that bump aside in savings and continue to live off of that X amount of dollars. And eventually your savings account is going to grow pretty rapidly, because you're never going to miss the money because you don't spend the money.
Right.
So, and so I just kind of feel like it's like a weird fine line, and I don't know how to get small business owners to see that there is a huge difference between your business money and your personal money, and how to keep it separate. I don't know if there's any other small business owners or people in middle management or something that are out there listening right now that
Well,
have implemented anything to help them go from the mindset of being an employee, having the W-2 check, and that's your money and it's all your money, to then having these other things as a business owner that you have, with the extra insurance, the equipment fees, the
mm-hmm.
just your normal operating fees, and the taxes, and things that you weren't necessarily facilitating as an employee.
Well, one of the mindsets for a small, especially, let's use DDOE for example. When it was partners, it was throw listen, everything we make is just going to go into the account, and then we'll look at it at the end of the year, and if there's anything to split up, we'll split up.
Hmm.
So depending on the business, now if this was what I was doing for a living, well, we would be broke anyway. uh, but if this is what I was thinking of doing for a living, you have to. I think a lot of small business people, much like myself, don't think of payroll. Right? Hey, I went and did a deal. I went and did I went and did a job, and my costs were $500. I charged them $2,500 at 2,000 fine, because that's my hourly rate. I mean, that's kind of that train of thought. We don't necessarily think, okay, I know it's got to grow, but I've got some other little ones, this, that, the third, but I'm used to, doing this. Now, when I owned the coffee shop, we built into our plan, okay, $400 a week is what we're going to pay ourselves, right? So then we knew that you had to hustle and make that $800 a week to,
Right.
so to try to cover that that expense. I think a lot of small businesses don't look at that expense. They just go, Well, all right. I just did a job. I've got $10,000. I've got to pay these bills. I'm going to go out and buy a new truck.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. It's just a matter of, it's not even just a matter of leaving some of the money in the business account. It's just not using the business account as your personal account,
Right.
because it's going to affect your ability to read your numbers. And then it's also going to affect your ability to, um, outside of just affecting the numbers, it's also going to affect your ability for growth, because if you're used to spending that whole $10,000 minus expenses, how are you ever going to hire an employee?
But how do you help people understand that? Because I am 21 6 and up. What is growth? I, growth is, you understand what I'm saying. So a lot of entrepreneur stuff, I don't think of, man, I'm gonna be the next Empire Carpet Company, right? They're like,
Right.
yeah, I'm gonna do okay, and now I'm too big for my garage, so maybe I've got to rent a warehouse, right? So how do you what have you found effective to help people understand how to plan growth and what it looks like and that?
Well, I guess you have to figure out when you initially open your business. Are you opening it and you just want to make enough money to take care of your family? Or are you wanting to open it and grow it to as big as you can? And that's your kind of quote unquote retirement plan
Yeah.
to sell it off, or well, really, yeah, to sell it off once you're ready to be done and retire. So if you're growth and you're going in that direction, then you're going to need to plan for that.
Yeah.
So then that's when your SMART goals come into effect, and you have your quarterly plans, your yearly plans, your 5-year plan. Like,
Hmm.
you have all these different plans and projections for growth. I mean, me personally, what I did is I kind of knew where the median salary range was for somebody that does the type of work that I do. So that's what I pay myself.
Yeah.
And that's, what I pay my staff. And whatever, if there's a good month that we had a lot of
Hmm.
cleanup work, which is what I call bonus money, because that's not monthly reoccurring, that's like one-off kind of money, then then at that point, then maybe I'll take an additional profit sharing type of check,
Sure. Sure.
and plan it that way. But I would rather do my very best to not touch the money beyond the salary, because I feel like, from what I've seen, when people start getting into those dangerous salary levels, it's very difficult to get an owner to go back down. Like, when I worked at well, I guess I could say their name because they published a newspaper article about the situation. So when I worked at Barrington Pools, and that was '08, and it's a luxury item.
Hmm.
The owners were taking $1 million bonuses, and they decided that it was better for them to cut the benefits and salaries of all of us staff versus giving up their bonuses.
Bonuses.
And then they proceeded, after they sold us on the idea of taking this temporary pay cut and benefit cut, that then they proceeded to do a publication or whatever, an interview in a pool magazine that everybody in the industry reads,
Oh boy.
about how they did this tactic and they still took their bonuses, so they're not really feeling the struggle that others might be feeling. So that left a really bad taste in some people's mouths.
I mean, and don't get me wrong. I wrote $1 million check to myself as a bonus. I went to the bank and they're like, "What the fuck are you doing?" Like, it's my bonus. You don't have this money. Oh, okay. I,
It's just hard. It's hard to back down when you're used to a certain um pay scale and certain like you're accustomed to living a certain way, and you feel like, as the owner, that you've worked the hardest out of anybody in the room, which is probably true, because it's a lot of work to grow a business
yep.
and do all these sales calls and meet all these people at these networking events and all of these different things. But then you to have to give up that money, I feel like, is a lot more of a it's just I feel like it's just difficult.
Yeah, it is difficult.
So I feel like if you pay yourself a salary that is matching to your industry and level, or you being a worker bee, I should say. If you pay yourself as if you were a worker bee,
Yeah.
and then if there's monies that you're able to take on a quarterly basis for profit sharing, I feel like I would go that route.
That's the way to go. Mhm.
Because I feel like that's an easier way to budget and to plan, because maybe you might get around to that quarterly time and you're like, you know what? I have, $15,000 sitting here. Maybe, it's time to move into a bigger office, or I could clearly afford to add another part time employee. And, if I work a little bit more, then I could grow, and then I'll make, 2.5 times the value of this
Yeah.
15,000, and then my quarterly commissions will be,
Yeah. Well, and that's what we're excited about here at 216 Net DDOE Enterprises this weekend, because we have been doing pretty well. Is the whole station's getting a whole new makeover. So next week you're going to be sitting
I know, I can't wait to see it. This
in a
is going to
whole.
be exciting.
It's going to be really cool.
But I feel like since I've been part of the 216
Oh, you've
the
seen them
net
all, haven't you?
family, I feel like we've gone
Let's
through,
see the round table over here.
right? That was my first one, the round table
Yeah.
over there, and then over there,
And then the black desk there.
and then
Yeah.
and then here.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you got the pub
Yeah. Now
table.
we went with the pub table. Yeah.
Yeah. And I feel like the backgrounds have changed because people don't know, but the studio is multicolored. So,
It is.
and then you went from having like banners up over
I
in
remember
the
that whole
back,
wall was banners.
and then we
Yeah.
tried doing a digital wall.
Yeah,
So,
that
yeah.
didn't work so well. But now, yeah, so we've got ourselves in kind of a cool place. So it's gonna be fun. And we've got a crew coming in. It's gonna be like a total makeover. We got a crew coming in tomorrow to just rip it and grip it and go, and it's gonna be really, really, really cool. Yeah, look at Jen says, "Hey, Kent, Mike's on his way. Mia's coming with him. Happy remodeling." Yeah, Mike is Mike. Of course, Gold Shield Services are going to put big supporters of. They're coming in to do some fancy stuff too. So yeah,
Yeah, it's gonna be
fun.
exciting.
Yeah.
I feel like you're finally gonna get your leather couch that you've been dying for in the
Yeah,
studio.
the casting couch. We're gonna be like Steph's books down there. Oh, by the way, I may need that room open tomorrow just to put some stuff in. So this is the fun thing I think about what you're talking about is keeping that personal and as a banker, right? Many years in banking, it's so important not to commingle, as you bookkeepers would say, because you never have a satisfaction if you're commingling of knowing, am I personally doing well? Is the business doing well? Is the business failing? Am I failing? Because there's always shuffling. I've worked with some people in the lending atmosphere who, as I said, DBA, and they have just a business account. They work everything out, and I'm like, man, I've got a lot of cash. Well, but that's because if I do some side jobs, but if there's more cash in this account, then I've got to pay more taxes. And I'm like, well, why don't you have a personal account? And it's
Right.
just you're just kind of like, why are you commingling this? And it does create, I think, an unhealthy psychological piece you never know. You never know if you're succeeding, if you're not succeeding, if your business is well. It's just a weird thing.
Yeah, because a lot of people don't realize that your taxes are pretty much based off of your profit and loss. They're not
Yeah.
based upon your balance sheet. So if I had $10,000 in my bank account as of December 31st, and then as of December 31st the following year, I had 15,000, that doesn't mean I pay taxes on 15,000. I already satisfied the 10 from the profit and loss statement from before. But also people don't think about too is that you could have $10,000 in your bank account, but is that really $10,000 from revenue, or is it $10,000 because you took out a loan?
Right.
Because you could have gotten an SBA loan, which was, has been very popular in the last couple of years with the COVID.
Or
And
that
then,
PPP loan thing.
right, or
Yeah.
you got the PPP money, but at least that was forgivable. They also have other SBA loans well before COVID that, have like that 7-year one. QuickBooks also has their own capital funding that they do against your receivables. So depending on where your receivables are at, they'll give you a loan. but you have to pay them back weekly. There's so many different ways to obtain cash in the business. And if you basically take cash and you get,
Yeah.
and you get that influx of cash, but it's from a loan, that liability that you have incurred now, all that's on your balance sheet.
Yeah.
That has nothing to do with your profit and loss.
I still get loan offers and credit card offers for the business in Pete's name. I sometimes maybe I should just send
See what
that and
happens?
get 10 grand in his name. I don't know, he's dead. What? He did what?
Like I thought it was weird. He went camping. I haven't seen him, but it's not unlike him.
He hasn't come back. I didn't know.
But yeah, it's just like the cash has nothing to do with it.
Yeah, don't rob Peter to save Paul. Even Pete, when he's dead, don't rob him.
But yeah, I mean the cash has nothing to do with anything as it pertains to the taxes, except for no, not really. But your profit and loss is where you really need to pay attention. But also, a lot of business owners don't realize that if your business is showing significant loss, but you took like a loan or whatever, you got cash in the business, and you're taking a significant loss, and then you're also taking these large distributions or large draws.
Yep.
That raises massive red flags.
Sure.
Because if you're not profiting, then where are you getting this money from? And how sustainable is your business? And then Uncle Sam starts to get worried because when are they getting their piece?
Right.
And it's like a whole vicious cycle of things.
It is a cycle. Yeah, it's tough. Derek, hey.
Hey,
Derek says, hey, Steph.
So Derek, you've been involved in a few businesses across your career.
Yeah.
How was it for you separating business money versus personal money from being a employee to an owner to a contractor to having your own thing on the side? Like, how has that been for you in creating that? Was it a difficult transition, or you just always were able to separate that?
And of course, if you're out there bored, everybody, I'm just putting up a link. You can copy that right into your URL area on your web page and join the show if you want. Steph's hanging out today. We're talking about not commingling personal and business, but feel free to join us if you want. Derek says, hide as much as possible.
It's funny. We were just talking about that before you tuned in.
That's right. That's right. The shoebox under the bed is always a good one. If you collect sneakers, and they never know which shoebox has them.
I feel like it would be amazing if you stuffed it all in the mattress and then you got Alzheimer's and donated the mattress.
Yeah, right. Growing up in Iowa, a lot of the old farmers would hide their money in books. So a lot of times when there was an estate sale, you would want to go and buy a box of books. You'd make a bid at the auction or whatever, like, hey, I'll give you $5 for that box of books, because a lot of times they would hide $100 bills in pages of the books, and you could come out
really
making some money. And it's depending on the age of the person. If you were to fall into somebody who's 80 or 90 years old, they may still do that.
Oh, that's crazy. I never knew that. Yeah. That's cool.
Yep. Just kidding. It's a hard thing to do, but I don't think of it as money as how I did it.
Right? Yeah. Like all the money that I've earned in the business, I don't look at it as money and spendable money. I look at it as a savings account, I guess, or money that I have to use.
Jen says that my aunt used to sew $100 bills in the seams of curtains in her home. Well, there's another one.
Well, apparently we're going to go to some rummage sales and we're getting some curtains and books.
That's it. Little curtains and books. Derek says it's a tool at the point, not money. I can spend, act like it's not yours, move it to another account so you don't spend it.
Yeah, a lot of my clients have recently started doing the profit first.
Yeah.
And they kind of take the income and then they separate it into the 5 bank accounts, which is very similar to the envelope system. Did you ever do that as a kid?
Yeah.
Where you get your paycheck and you cash it and you put it in the 5 envelopes?
Alice and I will still do that in the underwear drawer.
Yeah, we did that for our trip a couple years ago to Vegas. Yep. Or last year when Gavin turned 21, me and Eli did it. It was an envelope challenge that we saw on TikTok.
Yeah, you used to be able to do it with accounts, but now that there's so many fees involved with everything, the banks just like, well, okay, let's keep it in our underwear drawer. Steph, question. Hey, Lisa, thanks for tuning in. Steph, can you help set up a business like an LLC, Inc., or whatever makes sense and help with pros and cons for all those options?
Yeah, we could help with that. We have a tool that we use that has a questionnaire associated with it. It's the same thing that
Yeah.
like your CPA or lawyer would use, and then they could, and then it will move forward with activating it and registering it with the state of Illinois.
Nice. Yeah, of course.
And then you just have to file your annual filing every year.
Yeah.
Oh, don't forget to do that. Mine's coming up, so yeah, everybody, don't forget.
Yeah,
check.
mine's in November. My filing is.
Check and make
November.
sure you file that, because you don't want somebody to look up your business and you're,
And our good friend Eric Mason, my accountant over at mobile.tax, he helps out with that.
Yes.
He'll come right to the office. That's why he's mobile. I don't have to go to his, which is good. Of course, you've got 21.6 The Net. This is In the Know with Steph and Joe. And of course, whether you need a custom website designed or help integrating social media accounts to your business marketing program, Epic Media is a company you want to rely on for your business. Check them out at www.epicmediainc.com. And they are the best at what they do. Jess is just awesome over there. Bumped into her last Friday while I was out at the golf outing.
Oh.
Yeah.
Did you see that recent golf outing? I forgot with who it was with. I don't know if it was a chamber event or not, but someone had this awesome like little green, like golf, like green putting thing on their hat.
Oh, really? Cool.
Yeah, and they like laid down and took pictures of someone was like teeing off their head. But I mean, they didn't.
I don't know.
I don't know if they did or not.
Yeah. But. If you're drunk enough, you can. Yeah. Derek says, hey, going into the second portion of this, I have a question that keeps getting asked to me, and I just push it to you. When should you do a C Corp versus an S Corp?
I think the major difference in the C Corp versus the S Corp is the amount of shareholders, the limitation of shareholders, and also
taxation. Because
they're both pass through for the owners, because you'll still get a K1, mm-hmm. And then also the meetings. But as for that side of things, because I only have a P10, so technically I'm only able to speak upon things that pertain to individuals or LLCs. For incorporation, like tax saving type questions, you'd probably have to refer to Eric or your CPA for that specifically.
Don't you? Oh, never mind.
So I mean, we could do tax with my P10.
Yeah.
I'm a registered tax agent, so I could do LLCs and individuals, but I can't do things for incorporations until I sit for my my enrolled agent exams. But I missed the deadline in February, so hopefully then this upcoming February we'll be able to do that.
Yeah.
And then I could answer your question, Derek, live on the radio.
Yeah, why not? That would be a good time to do it. Listen, the interesting piece of what you do is help people stay out of jail.
I give them a professional recommendation, but I tell everybody, as I tell my clients, that we're all adults.
Yeah.
We're all adults, and you are the business owner at the end of the day. So the majority of the accountability lies on you.
Yeah.
And that's also not saying that I've ever done anything questionable, but that's also like the biggest get out of jail free card that I have is being a bookkeeper and not a CPA.
Yeah.
Like Eric could never walk that fine line that I could walk as a bookkeeper because of his code of ethics and things that he has to adhere to, because he's actually registered on a, with the Illinois CPA Association or whatever they call it. But
And hey, holy tats. Listen, leave her. Oh, tattoo. Sorry. Love the sleeve, he says.
Thanks.
I thought we were talking about Steph's tips again. Sorry.
Going to get it finished on Sunday, and then I think I am throwing in my my tattoo hat. I've run out of real estate.
Wrong. You're gonna get the little teardrop out of the eye, and then you'll do the, what I love is the surprised look when you tattoo your eyebrows. Those ladies, really.
Yeah, I'll get some new eyebrows.
What point did you think that was a good idea?
Well, now they're doing the tattoo lipstick, so that should be a thing.
Yeah, a little liner on it. Yeah.
No, like the whole lipstick, and
Well, that would hurt.
it stays, I think, for three years or whatever they guarantee it. Yeah,
that would hurt. That would hurt. Mm-mm,
yeah.
mm-mm. Derek, let me know how the tattooed lipstick goes for you. Be great. He shows up to dig a trench. Hey, what is wrong with that guy's lips? Is he wearing lipstick? No, tattoo.
He just ate a popsicle.
Right. That's right. Sleeve tat, sister. Sleeve tat. Yeah. So Jen's got a great sleeve too going. So little sisterhood there with Tech Jen.
So,
all right. So when we are in business for ourselves and we don't have a true, no regrets, and we don't have a true idea of growth. Okay, so we can honestly say, no more filters. We can honestly say that we didn't know what we were doing when we started this, right? Yeah. And we're 4 years in, and we're just starting to understand what we're doing here. And there's some neat things I think that are happening and are going to happen relatively soon that I think should leverage some really cool stuff. But now we understand growth and say, oh, this could be big, right? Other than, oh, let's get great content in, but geniuses like Steph and Joe, like the Dream Home experts, those type of people, and let's just have fun with it. Now it's like, wait a minute, we've got some good things cooking, and that's the idea. So now we've got a plan for growth. We've got a plan to push and grow and say, okay, we've never as a company said that, because I don't think we've ever, just like, well, it is what it is. Okay, that check came in. Okay, great. That check went out. Okay, that check came in. Okay, great. That check went out. End of the year comes. Here's $50.
Well, I think it's always been kind of easy for you guys to maintain that kind of attitude about it, because you guys have always had like a full-time safety net at another thing. So to be forced to push it into what it totally could and should be, has been a different animal for you guys over the last, several years since you opened the studio. Mm-hmm. And I think that now that you guys are starting to put your growth plans in effect, I think that it's going to be a much more fruitful experience for you.
I hope so.
Because, I don't know. When Rich and I opened up Steph's Books, even though the both of us have been in like middle management, a lot of our working career is very different when it's your own thing and you're starting from ground zero. Like, I'm like, oh yeah, we're going to open this. We'll build a website. So, Rich and I built our first website, and then that, I guess, wasn't that great of a website, but I still think it was amazing. And, you get some business cards, you go to the chamber, and then I'm like, okay, like, let's do this. And then we're like, I don't know, 4 months in, we have one client, and we're like, I don't think we're doing this right.
That's right.
Like, I can't quit my job yet. Like, I thought like it was just like, boom, like,
let's wrap the car. All right, we'll put a wrap on the car.
So we just started just doing all different things. Like, anytime we had, because I was working full time for the first probably like 2.5 years of Steph's Books, we were able to take that money that we were starting to get in from the business and then start just throwing it at the wall and seeing what happens. Like, oh, let's go, wrap the car. Let's join a bunch of chambers. Let's, go to these continuing education events. Let's whatever let's create a mailer. And I guess for B2B, that's really not a thing.
Not so much.
Like, I think one person called us, and it was somebody that actually does marketing, and they're like, this looks like a hair salon ribbon cutting and not a book. I would have never thought bookkeeper was their critique. So I was like, oh, well done.
Derek says, talk to me after you go through 700 pages of health insurance before I met Tim to help me understand any of it. It sucked. Never did that before. Set up a health plan for our entire team. Yeah. There's so much of that. But here's what I love that I've learned a lot from Steph and Joe. I've learned from Innovative Strategies, hanging out with people like Mike Krejci and a Derek Bear, people just good at business. Is you should understand the lane that you're good at.
Oh
right?
yeah.
So I'll pick on Joe a little bit. Joe knows what he's good at, and Carrie knows what she's good at,
Right.
and
Yeah.
he allows Carrie to be good at it, right?
Right. Yeah, they definitely respect the boundaries of each other's
Yeah,
skill set.
yeah,
Yes.
and that's kind of uh, the cool thing that I've learned is yeah, my personality is I'm going to figure it out. I'll figure it out. If I fail, I fail. I'll figure it out. Well, I don't have to figure it out. I have to find a teammate or somebody who I can rely on, like a Steph's books that already has it figured out, and just go, hey, thanks.
Yeah. I mean, like Rich puts together, like, because he does it at his job and he puts together all of our matrices. He pulls all of the data from our CRM.
Yeah,
If I'm not identifying something correctly in the CRM, or I didn't
boring. Yeah.
like log time correctly, or I didn't email out of the CRM and I
Mhm.
emailed directly out of Outlook, like I hear about it because it logs 5 minutes of time
Yeah,
if you do it out of the CRM. Like, so he really gets into the like the nitty gritty of that to let me know
boring.
what else
Good
I
for
need
him.
to
Boring.
do.
Yeah.
Yeah, like because otherwise I'm like, whatever, I'll just go close these accounts, I'll go do this. But like, I don't know, probably a few months ago, I was really down in the dumps and I felt like we just weren't killing it.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, this sucks. And I was getting like really depressed. And then Rich pulled the numbers and went through it. And he's like, we've grown an extreme amount in the last like few months. He's like, and I'm like, I don't know. I'm like, I guess I look at everybody else's numbers all day that I just forget to look at my own numbers
Yeah.
and take my own advice.
Yeah, right. Yeah, and it's hard when it's your own business. I mean, it's easy for you to give other people like, listen, you're goofing this up. When it's yours, you're like,
Yeah, I'm like the landscaper with the dead lawn. That's what
right.
it is.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
If you don't know something, hire someone that does it if it makes money for the company in a productive way. Yeah, thanks, Jerry. Yeah, I think so.
yeah,
Uh,
like I'll always outsource my like marketing and my website stuff. I'll never attempt to do that
Again,
by myself again. Like it just isn't.
talk to Tech Jen. Tech Jen is good. Jen Krejci.
It's not. It's just not my. It's not my cup of tea. I don't like it. I don't like the marketing. But then people are like, you're always out marketing because you're out at these networking events, so you're marketing and whatever. And I'm like talking to somebody face to face, I can do,
Right.
but
But
like,
setting up an algorithm so that it goes out to whatever people whenever.
right, like learning the hard way at sponsoring some
Right.
events and things that, that's kind of more of the branding side of the marketing and not actually going to close the deal for you. Like, it's a whole different animal.
Right. And that's why you would reach out to Epic Media, people, website design, local business marketing, social media marketing, content marketing. Wonderful, wonderful people over there.
Yeah,
Big,
exactly.
big fan. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I ran into Derek at the Lake in the Hills Rib Fest.
Oh, yeah. They had a great booth over there, I heard, right on the main drag.
Yeah, so they had the booth, and you played the game where you threw a plunger in a toilet
Yeah.
and all that stuff. And it was fun and it was great.
Was there anybody sitting on the toilet?
Not
When
while
you
we were there, but I don't know what happened afterwards. Oh, and he also had an air conditioner
Yeah.
that was fully functional in the tent,
In his tent. Yeah.
and it was 100 degrees out. It was amazing.
It was great.
And so, like for him, it was like I believe when I saw him, he like was saying about how what a great event it was for him that at that point, and that was like only one of the days that they were there. But if I tried to do something like that, where somebody, I don't know,
Hey, she had calculator.
had to fill out a T chart with the calculator, like they'd be like, "Ugh," I think it's just a whole different animal for the B2C versus the B2B world and trying to get into those events.
Name that debit or credit?
Yeah. Yeah, we'll see.
Debit? No, that's a credit. Sorry.
Sorry, you lose. You do not get the calculator and the pocket protector.
That's right. Go on your way. Get your kid out of here too. Let's see. Jen says I've started 2 new jobs. One is for SudShare, people who can't do laundry. Give it to me. I want to turn our garage into Washville home laundromat. works because hubby's a plumber. Oh, there you go.
Well,
Yeah.
that'd be cool.
Actually, I think that's really funny because Scott Giles and I just the other day were talking. We drove by a laundromat here on 120 that was for sale,
Mm.
right over there by Dunkin' Donuts or whatever, right? And it's been for sale for a while. He's like, we kind of took a look at that. They wanted $275 for it, but the plumbing and everything was kind of bad. Or the machines were kind of shot. And I was like, I looked at that too because I think it'd be cool to do an Uber laundry. And here's Jen doing it. It's called Sudshare. That's pretty cool. See somebody
Yeah,
beat me to the punch.
I would love to have a laundromat with just like all the quarters and just walk around with one of those little belts with the little.
How are you going to pay for that, ma'am?
Yes.
Quarters. There you go. My gosh, that lady always comes in. Quarters.
Yeah. That would be a fun adventure.
Yeah, right? It'd be cool on a laundromat.
Yeah, I know on the Buy Biz Sell website they had a laundromat for sale, I think in like the Gurnee area.
Well, the other one here on 31 is for sale, but you don't own the building, so rent is kind of astronomical. It's not really good. But.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't go into a real deep dive into it. One of my friends was looking at it, and they were potentially going to maybe buy into it, but then they backed out. But I was like, I'll be your operations manager, and I'll go to the laundromat. And they're like, well, what about your business? And I'm like, yeah, if you have a room in the back, I could put my girls in the back room. And then I'll be at the front counter with my quarters.
It's like the speakeasy.
Yeah.
Got the books being washed in the back, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, and then we thought about that. And we're like,
maybe not.
It's not a good look. Not a good look.
But I will say this, anybody out there who's thinking of starting a laundromat, make sure you have a plumber in your pocket. Simple as that. Just make sure you got one, or you're a plumber.
Yeah, I think that one of my grandma's friends is in an assisted living home, and there's a service that comes and does the laundry, and they charge, I think, $20 a load or something.
Yeah.
To wash the laundry.
Jen, do you fold it too? Do you have to fold it too?
Or they come and they sit there and they wash the laundry using your machine and your laundry detergent in your unit or whatever, and they'll for $20 or whatever a load or something.
Yeah, that's interesting.
But I'm like, I don't know if I would do that, but
yeah, it'd be interesting.
Yeah, I don't know what I would do, but yeah. So
right. Well, yours would be all night long. Hey, Dawn needs a Sudshare. Need a laundry person. Don Bremer, of course, of the Bremer team. See, the other job is at Target, so I get a discount on my expenses such as bleach. Oh, see, look at that. Yes, I fold and iron. I love to iron.
Really?
I won't fold.
Maybe you could teach me how to iron.
Yeah, I love it.
My grandma used to do all my ironing.
I learned it. I actually learned it from Alice's grandmother. She taught me. Dawn, drop it off. I'll do it. You just run that right down to Warrenville. Do they put it away too? Yes. They'll just come right in and put it away.
Look at that, Dawn's. There you go. Dawn will be your best and first customer.
I can separate it. She says that's fine. Put it into piles. I always have to have my laundry staged. Like I'll take it. Alice will fold it and I'll take it upstairs. But I have to put it in piles to which drawer it goes in before I put it in the drawer. I'm very anal about it.
Oh,
my family makes fun of me about it.
Well, the laundry, sometimes some people in the house will leave multiple loads of laundry like on the dryer. Like I refuse to put it away.
Yeah.
I mean, Eli, I'll put his away because he's 6, but I'll refuse to put it away. But like Gavin makes fun of me because I have it all in the same order. And no matter, so like you have like the pants and then you have shorts and then you have shirts and you have underwear and you make like a whole little stack.
Yeah, like a pyramid. Right?
Yeah. And so I have it always in the same order. And if I have to do multiple loads, then I'll still layer it properly within the current stack. And yeah, so then it makes it easy. You just grab the pile, you put it in that drawer, Like you don't have to spend the time to divvy it out because I'll do work shirts on the bottom and then like your normal shirts on the top.
Mm-hmm.
Like I do a pretty good job of separating it all out.
You stage it all out.
And make it very easy for people to put it away.
Yeah, that's the way to do it.
But that's my OCD, I guess.
Listen, and some of you are going to ask you like, hey, what does this have to do about keeping my books and my personal and my business? It's dirty laundry. If you get your personal dirty laundry in with your business money, you're going to have It's not going to be pretty. It's not going to be staged.
Mm.
And Linda says mine is hung by color like a rainbow. In when I put it away, when I hang it, I do too.
Hmm.
I do not want to have to think about. I don't want to search for something. So even in the drawers, it's like, okay, these are the short sleeves, these colors, these are black and whites, these are the long sleeve, you know, and then in hanging in the closets the same way.
Yeah, everything I
Yeah,
have is all
yeah,
color clustered.
yeah. I try not to think. I don't want to think, so I put it away that way.
Mm.
So
Yeah, but I'm also the mom too that when I put Eli's laundry away,
yeah,
I'll take the clean stack of shirts and take his stack of shirts out of the drawer and put that one underneath,
rotate.
so he has the
Hmm.
proper rotation, so he doesn't have like this one stack of
Oh,
clothes
there's
that's
little
like
Eli. He's wearing that shirt again.
right.
That's the
Like,
eighth day in a row.
yeah,
Yeah.
because otherwise he'll just take from the top of the pile and wear the same
That's what
thing.
dudes do. Yeah.
Yeah, so I have to like purposely put it underneath.
Yeah. No, I'll dig. I'm at an age where I'll dig. I'm not like a 6-year-old, but
Mm.
I'm like, oh, black shirt. Oh yeah, there's the sweet peas one. Let's do that. Oh hey, look, let's use this black, Gold Shield sweatshirt.
Oh yeah,
Hey,
I need some swag from Derek too.
and my hats are that way too. So sometimes I go, okay, gray hat. I'll go with the Bremer team hat. Actually, when I work with the gate at Fiesta Days, everybody's like, "You work for a Bremer team?" God no, I just wear a hat.
It was the same thing when you went to the Restoration One mixer.
Right? Yeah, I showed up. Yeah,
You had the hat.
yeah. Showed up in uniform. Right.
But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, we've definitely gone into a whole different
Ah,
topic.
it's,
Yeah. So,
it's just like Joe's here. We've gone way off the track. That is awesome. What in the world do you do for that company who has commingled for, let's say, 5 to 10 years? They've been in business. This is just the way we've been doing it, Steph. Now I'm growing a little bit and things are getting weird, and they're like, this is just the way I've always done it.
well, I mean, the only thing that I can do is just tell them to knock it off
Damn it.
and just
Stop
tell
it.
them that the risks that come, when they potentially are going to get pulled for an audit. I mean, it's just a game, like a dangerous game that you play. And then also, like, how do you even know how much money you need to sustain your lifestyle and your what you're accustomed, like, because like a lot of people at the end of the year, from what I've seen, are kind of surprised that they took X amount of dollars out of their bank account. Like, they don't believe it at first until they go through the report and see that they did that. I feel it's like a lot easier to spend the money out of the business account than it is to spend it out of your own account.
Oh, that's true. I did that at the end of, and when Derek, when not Derek, when Eric came by, and I was like, oh shit, man, I spent a lot of money this year.
Yeah, it's just, I feel like it's a lot easier. It's just like, it's no different than using like like your debit card or credit card, and you're just like swipe, 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 and
Yeah.
you don't ever have any cash, and then so you don't ever know,
Yeah.
like, you just don't have that same sense of control of your money.
Right
Like,
on.
I'm not saying I carry cash because I'm just like everybody else, and I have, but I do have my paper ledger at home, and I know what's in there.
Yeah.
But I'm still the same person that writes checks, so
Yeah. Of course, if anybody's looking to volunteer some time at the Rise Up Foundation this year, of course, reach out to Don Bremer. Looks like
I told
they need
Aaron
volunteers.
from Jets that Steph's Books would donate time. So
I did too, but we'll see.
we'll see if they call. They didn't call last year. They didn't want me to run security.
No.
I felt slighted.
I don't know. I sat at the gates and looked at people's little clutch bags. Hey, that's not a clutch bag. That's it. Then I just stopped caring. Go ahead, take that gun in there. It's fine.
I wanted to run security, and I wanted a taser, and Aaron and Wayne said no.
Yeah. What was that for? Just didn't like you.
I'm like, nobody would even know. I'm so short, and I'm quick through the crowd.
Yeah. Well, what we were doing last year too, in my line, I was asking people. I was like, "Oh, are you vaccinated? What shoulder did you get vaccinated?" And I'd take my scanner and scan their shoulder. Oh, okay, you're good. Just to screw with people. Screwing with people is always a good time here on In the Know with Steph and Joe.
Yeah, with our Mod Pod show today.
Oh, it's a good one. Well, that's the joy of this. That's what business is, though, right? You kind of get off track. You run down rabbit holes. You have weird people show up. you know, and that is In the Know with Steph and Joe. So you can tell them to stop it. Do you get a lot of people to push back on you, and then you finally just go, okay, this isn't going to work. Goodbye.
Well, I don't. I won't ever fire a client for the mix and mingle,
Yeah.
but I always let them know that their level of involvement and their level of time that they're still going to have to invest into the bookkeeping side of their business is going to be much more. And usually, when you start, they're not so much afraid of the audit as their
Yeah.
time of giving up their time. Like
Okay.
I can't if I know that you're going to Walmart and buying personal things and you're buying business things, you're going to have to identify each individual transaction then for me when you go to Walmart. It's just like when clients use Venmo. I can't see Venmo transactions. It just says Venmo on the thing.
Oh, so we don't know what it's for.
So I have no clue. So I have to give you a list of items at the end of the month that you're going to have to identify.
Huh.
And if you have basically technically until the end of the year to identify those, because then your CPA is going to ask you to identify them.
Yeah.
So either way, you're going to have to mark them, and I will make you put it in writing what is business and what is personal, just as your CPA would, because it's a CYA situation.
Sure.
Yeah. So the more time that they have to spend and the fact that they can't get away from it, then they slowly, I think, start to change some of their practices and procedures as it pertains to intermingling the business and personal.
What if you're in Tennessee and you come across a bear outside of your cabin? What do you do?
Yes, that did happen to us a few days ago. We were in Tennessee and a bear walked across our house.
Don't worry, it was just a teenager. Is what you found out. So
yeah, I went to the store and I was so excited, and I showed the lady at the counter and I was like, "Oh my god, I saw a bear for the first time outside of a zoo, and look at this." And she's like, "Oh, it's just a teenager." Like what? As if it wasn't going to eat me? Like
it was a big bear. I don't care what age it was.
Yeah, and it came back the next morning into the backyard.
Did it really?
Yeah, I can show you the other picture. But yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah, he was like, I guess he like is in that area
because there's food.
Well, the houses that we were staying in is all new construction, so they just invaded that bear's territory,
Right.
and now there's all these houses in its way.
Oh, that's terrible for that bear. I feel bad for it.
Yeah, but I guess like the bear was in town like a few months before we got there, and he tried to climb the fence into the bar while these people were eating.
What?
Yeah, the lady at the bar was telling us that the fence like right outside the window where they had like some outdoor seating, and I told Rich, I'm like, we're never sitting outside for the remainder of the trip.
No,
inside only.
I don't need a bear coming in here.
Yeah,
I am in town. Derek, says. Derek Bear says. You like to eat out too? Wait, what is it? I like to eat also. LOL.
But yeah, so I guess hopefully you guys took away something as it pertains to mixing and mingling business accounts and personal accounts, and maybe we'll think twice before using your business account like your personal bank account. And also don't integrate your personal accounts with your QuickBooks file. That is so annoying. So don't do that. And I guess next week we're going to be talking about being part of networking groups and chambers and communities and all this stuff, and the level of gossip that goes on and the reputations and the working relationships and how they get kind of tarnished and affected by that environment, because I feel like that's a big talking point that I don't know if everybody wants to talk about, but everybody's talking about it behind everybody's back, so let's just bring it to the table.
BBH, business butt hurt.
Yeah, so anybody any business owners that want to come and participate in the conversation, come on down to the studio or click the link. But we are
be new digs here. You're
strongly encouraging no names, no business names, no anything like that, to protect anybody's businesses and family.
I was in this referral group once with Derek Bear.
Yeah.
And so I'm sitting there and somebody gave him a fuck a duck.
That
was it. I was uncomfortable. Mary says there's never gossip. No gossip in those circles. That's it.
All right, Mary, then you come and you be the other side of the table.
Mary. We'd love to see Mary. Of course, Mary Shep's going to be coming back here in August with her new series on, living low sodium. So we are excited about that. Yeah, very uncomfortable. It was, I don't know. And then Derek shows me the fucking duck, and he's like, "Look, there's a weird hole here."
Yeah. So like unlike Kent, we're not naming names.
We're not supposed to. I'm so sorry. We'll say the guy's name is D Rock Baird.
And I think the show after that we're going to be talking about getting.
Don, I hope you're still listening, because Derek says he's sitting at home with the shorts on right now.
Oh my God.
And Mary said she'll be here, so we'll have a special guest next week. We're excited for that.
That'll be good. And then the show after that, we're going to be talking about ramping up and getting ready for the kids to go back to school and how that affects your
Giddy up
schedule and ability to get back into like the normal swing of meetings and business and all of that,
and pickups and drop-offs, and there you go.
I just want to know if anybody kind of hits like a slow slump during the summer versus the normal school year, like as for the level of of sales calls and leads.
Listen, I don't know if anybody knows this out here, but I learned this on TikTok the other day. And if you didn't know, fruit is the ovaries of the tree. There you go. If you didn't know that, now you do.
All right. Well, I guess on that note, you all have a great weekend, and we will see you next Friday.
Awesome sauce.